This is so fun to do to players. Put them in an encounter where they literally have to be pacifists or not attack anything at all for a round or 3 rounds in order to actually survive. Love it. Hey DMs of TikTok, have you ever created a custom race for one of your players? It could be anything. It could be something entirely homebrew, or maybe you just statted a monster out of the manual and turned it into a playable race. I'll go first. See, way back when, while I was doing my undead campaign, one of my players wanted to be a ghost. Lacking anything really particularly cool about this, I decided to come up with my own ghost race. I began thinking, what would a ghost be like in real life? And then it struck me, it would be immune to physical damage of all kinds. And you're probably thinking, whoa, that is really OP, and you're right. So even though he was playing the ghost of a gnome, I still decided that his one weaknesses would be very low HP. So I cut his max HP in half. So I think he was like a levels 8 or level 9 player, but he only had like 28 max HP. So that's cool, you're immune to all kind of bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage, but if a single AoE spell or any kind of spell from any spellcaster hits him, that would almost knock him on his ass. This might be a little bit controversial, but it's never okay to be a dick DM, but it is okay to be an evil DM, and let me explain the difference. A dick DM is somebody who just straight up punishes players. A dick DM is somebody who tries to win the game, or tries to domineer the game, or domineer their friends, which is really messed up. That's like sociopathic behavior here. A dick DM just basically makes everybody at the table feel bad, frustrated, annoyed, and they all walk away from the game feeling abused, and that's messed up. Don't be a dick DM. But how is that different from being an evil DM, do you say? Well, an evil DM doesn't abuse players, he challenges them. An evil DM can take things from his players, but as long as it's not a permanent thing. An evil DM understands that the best stories often have struggle and strife, where the heroes have to overcome some kind of obstacle for a greater good. The evil DM uses struggle and loss and setbacks as plot advancers, but it's a fine line. The variables of a character's age and background have always kind of plagued me a little bit when making a level 1 brand new character. Like, for example, elves can be thousands of years old. So, I mean, when a player creates a character who's an elf and is like, oh yeah, I'm a 400-year-old elf. Okay, how and why would you be level 1 then at that point? So yeah, like I get it, a 12-year-old could be a level 1, or even like a 35-year-old human who's maybe like a veteran or something could maybe be a level 1 too, yes. But some of these other races could be hundreds and thousands of years old, so when creating a character, from the player's standpoint, how can you justify them being level 1 so terribly inexperienced and be level 1? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. Can some of you other DMs help me out, please?
Challenge all the DMs on TikTok. Pick a song, write a campaign based on it.
The entire party starts off at level 15 because this is going to be an epic one. Everyone in the party are all angel soldiers and they're sent on a very dangerous mission. They're going to be sent down from the angelic realm all the way down to the realms of hell below to clear out some demons. A relatively common occurrence for angels to be sent down to hell to wipe out demons, this is particularly unique because everybody there is epic level. Some weird shit is about to go down for all of them to be in one place at one time. Normally impervious to most wounds, many of the angels' longtime scars start suddenly reappearing. They believe that the longer that they stay down in the hells, the more corrupted they will become. They are beginning to doubt the reasons why they are sent there, or the motives. When taking on one of the major demon lords, they realize he only has half of a soul stone. Where is the other half? They recognize that the other half is imbued into the armor of their angel commander. Suddenly they're surrounded by an army of demons. They were sent out on a righteous suicide mission. Hey D&D TikTok, here's a little bit of a hot take for you. Creating new monsters, races, and items are actually quite easy, and I think a lot of people just complicate it. Let me explain, and let me explain my strategy on how to do so. Creating new monsters, items, and races is a lot like cooking. Nobody said you had to try to invent some kind of new ice cream or some kind of new pizza or some kind of new bread. The best way to go about doing it is just to re-flavor something that already exists. Add a new spice, add a new angle, add a new element to something that's already there. Take a pizza and add a new topping to it. Take ice cream and add a new topping to it, and that's what makes it unique, and that's what can make it situational. It also takes a hell of a lot of legwork out of it as well, too, out of creating new items and new monsters and new races. So being creative really isn't just coming up with brand new things out of thin air. The vast majority of it is just simply knowing what tools you have and knowing how to use them to give yourself a good foundation. Maybe a controversial opinion, but yes, your DM can tell players what they're feeling. Let me explain. I mean, beyond the obvious conditions of fear, charmed, confusion, or even madness, a DM can tell players what they're feeling, and the player should, to the best of their ability, actually try to roleplay that. And now I'm not saying that the DM should do this. You are afraid. Act afraid. The DM should be the lead narrator of the story, and if a player has good enough reason to feel afraid or sad or happy, the DM should try to elaborate to the best of their ability that the player should be feeling this, and the player should then roleplay in turn properly. Again, not in a domineering way, not in a dick DM way, but in a way that allows the player to better connect with the moment and connect with the character. Here's a unique character concept for all you Tabaxi fans out there. This Tabaxi didn't choose the adventuring life, but the adventuring life chose her. You see, deep down, she's actually quite lazy and rarely wants to be a part of any kind of action. You see, she was quite happy living at home, sleeping in the sunlight, doing light hunting and fishing for her meals, and being beloved by her human roommate. Unfortunately for her, there's always some kind of robbery or raid or some kind of grand disturbance in her life that she must begrudgingly deal with. She bores easily in social circumstances and decides to cast dancing lights on herself as a form of entertainment. For added distraction, she carries a special pouch which is titled Nip. And last of all, she needs to make a wisdom saving throw to prevent herself from knocking over any cup she sees sitting on a table.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.